Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to create such a beautiful and engaging onboarding screen using React Native, onboarding swiper, and the Lottie animations. So, an onboarding screen is basically the first few pages that when you open the application, it shows you, and these pages explain to you what the application is all about. So, if you look here, we have this application that shows smart budgeting and track your expenses with ease. That means it is a budget tracker application. And if you move to the next slide, it also explains that monthly planning and organize your finances and save for the future. We also move to the third slide, and here it says insightful analytics. That means you can visualize your spending habits with real data like monthly, weekly, and daily expenses. So that's all what an onboarding screen is. It's basically used to introduce or guide new users to the application. And that's it. We will be designing it from scratch today. Okay, let's start building our onboarding screen. And the first thing that we need to do is open up our web browser and we need to install two important packages. And the first package is known as the React Native Onboarding Swiper. And you should get it from here. You just open the NPM website and copy the command npm I React Native Onboarding Swiper. Go back to our code editor and paste it on terminal and run the command to install it, and head back to your browser again, and we need to get the second package, and that is known as the Lottie React Native animation. So you also get it from the npm website. Open the website and you see here we have iOS and Android. Just copy the command here and head back to your editor. So just paste the command, but before running the command, we need to modify it by including npm and change this to small letter. Now you can run the command and it should install the package. So now the packages are installed. We can go back to our Metro bundler and our bundler is still running. So we need to hide this header. So you just navigate to the root layout and we say screen options, and the header shown should be false. In order to hide this header, I'll just say header shown should be false and our header should be hidden. Now we go back to the root entry or the main entry of the application and get rid of this text. We just need this to be blank. Now, to create the onboarding swiper, we need some data to provide to the swiper because each slide should have data on it. And those data are, we have the title, Lottie. We also have the subtitles. So to do that, we need to create a folder inside the source and we'll call it data. And inside the data folder, we create this file called onboarding data. So let me just correct the spelling here. It's oa.ts, right? So in this file, we will try to create an array of objects that will hold the data that we want to display on our slides. So I'll export an array called onboarding data. And this array, we will have three objects. And the first object will be responsible for the first slide. And this object will contain a background color. So for the first screen, we'll just give it a background color of white. The next thing that we need is the title. So the title for the first screen, let's just say smart budgeting. Next, we also need the subtitle or description. And the subtitle will be track your expenses with ease. And lastly, we need the Lottie itself. So we'll provide the path for the Lottie. So it is within the assets, animations, and we pick this one, build.json. And by this, we have provided the data for the first slide. So we just copy this and modify it in order to complete the data for the second as well the third slide. So I'll just copy this and paste it, and I'll do it again for the third slide, and we'll start modifying it. So in the second slide, we just have to change the color. So I'll just pick a light pink, and I'll also modify the title by saying monthly planning, and I'll have to modify also the subtitle. So for the subtitle, I'll just say organize, organize your finances, and save for future, right? So I have N here. Then we need to change the Lottie. So I'll just pick a different Lottie. I'll just pick the second one. And lastly, we have the title. Okay, we have to provide the color for the third slide. So I'll just give it a light orange. And I'll provide the title as insightful analytics. And also I have to give it subtitle. So here what I will say, I'll say visualize your spending habits with real-time data, right? So we have the data. We also have to provide the Lottie. So we'll have to pick the first one. So now we have the complete data for our onboarding screen. Now, before proceeding ahead, we also have to create types. Otherwise, TypeScript is going to complain. So I'll create another folder inside the source, and I will call it types. So, and inside this type folder, I'll create onboarding items files .ts, right? So what I will do here, I'll create an interface. So I'll just export interface, and I'll call this interface as onboarding items. So in the onboarding item, we have the first item as background color, and it should be of type string. Next, we have title. It should also be of type string. We also have the subtitle, and the subtitle should be also a string. And lastly, we have Lottie. I'll just give it type any. And now we have the complete types for our onboarding data. So now we can proceed on and design the onboarding swiper. So I'll just import the onboarding swiper package. Just say onboarding from React Native onboarding swiper, and it's here. So it's complaining. What's the complaint about? It's saying onboarding is declared, but its value is never read. Okay, don't mind about this. So we just come here. First, we need to provide the style, and here we give it flex of 1 to take the entire screen. And here we just have to say onboarding. So inside this onboarding, we can provide the first we'll have the onDone prop, and we'll have the onSkip prop. So these two props, if we click on onDone, and that is in the last slide, and if you click onDone, then it leads to the authentication screen. Similarly, if you don't want to go through the slide, you can just click on the onSkip, and it will also direct you to the authentication screen. And if you look here, there is complaint that script is saying couldn't find a declaration file for the module. So to solve this, we just go to the files, to the types, and create here a file called declaration.d.ts, and we'll have to declare the module. And I'll just copy this package name and paste it here. Now we have declared the module, and the error should be gone, right? So now we can go ahead and try to complete our onboarding swiper. So here we need to create a function. So I'll just create a function called handle done. And this function will be responsible for directing the user to the authentication screen. So I'll just say router dot replace. And before doing that, we need to install another important package for routing, and that is export router. So I'll just say npm install export router, and then we go back, right? So we also need to create an authentication screen here. So I'll just create a folder and I will call it auth. And inside this folder, we can create the authentication screen. So I'll just say auth screen dot tsx, right? So, and here you just type rnfes to get the boilerplate. And to get this boilerplate, you can just get the extension, and it is called ES7 plus, and you should see it right here, right? So this is the extension that allows you to get the boilerplate for React Native as well React for web, but you have to type different commands. So here we'll have to import export router as well. Import use router. It's use router from export router. We are not dealing with Redux. So once you import the package, you just have to define it here. We'll just say constant router equals to use router. And now here we can provide the path. So once the user is done, we navigate the user to the authentication screen. So I'll just put here auth screen, right? Now, and here we'll just call our function handle done. Similarly, on skip also handle done. And here we have to create pages. Now, here there is one more thing that we have to do. We are going to transform whatever data we have in our array. So I'll just say onboarding data. But before doing it, we have to also import it, and it's already here. So I'll say onboarding data.map. And here we'll say item, which will represent each item in the array. Now we have to call each item. So I'll just say background color. It will be item dot background. Similarly, we also need the title. So I'll just say title. It will be item dot title. We also need the subtitle. So I'll just say subtitle. It will be item dot subtitle. And lastly, we need the Lottie. So for Lottie, we'll say image. Now here we'll create a view. And this view will be the container for the Lottie. Now inside here, we'll just provide it with a style, and we'll say style. We'll give it a width. But before doing that, we need to get the dimension of the screen. So I'll just import dimensions from React Native. And I'll say here, we need to get the width. So I'll just say width equals to dimensions dot get, and we provide the window here. Okay, here is n, and the error should be gone. So if you come back here, we provide the width, and the width should take 70% of the screen. So I'll just say width multiplied by 0.7, and the height should be also 70% of the screen. So I'll just say height and provide it the same styling. So the image is complaining because we forgot this comma here. So now we can import our Lottie. We can access our Lottie. We need to import it first. I'll say import Lottie from Lottie React Native. Now we can extract our Lottie as well. So I'll just type Lottie And here we'll provide the source, and the source equals to, it will be items, item.lottie, and should be autoplay as well loop. And we also have to provide the styling for the Lottie. So I'll provide the styles. So the width should be 100%. Likewise, to height, it should also be 100%. Now we can reload the application and should see our onboarding screen showing whatever data that we need. Okay, we're getting an error. That's it. Let me just clear the terminal and restart the Metro bundler once again. So I'll just type npm npx x4 start -c. And we can reload the application. And there we go. We have our onboarding screen with the Lottie animation as well the title and subtitle. And if you just click on next, you'll go to the second slide and you'll also find the different Lottie as well the title and subtitle. And you can click on next and you can click on done and it should take you to this screen. And we can just style our authentication screen a bit. So I'll just style it. I'll just provide some styles here. I'll give it flex of 1. I'll justify the content to be center. And I'll also align items to center. We can also style the text here. I'll just say, welcome to Auth screen. And we can style the text as well. So we'll just give it a color, red color. We can increase the font size to 20. As well, the font weight, we just give it a bold. And if you skip, it should take you to the authentication screen, as you can see. And that's it.